Good evening and welcome to episode 5 of Talking Trash. I'm James Blackfield.
Abraham?
And we do have Bohan, but I don't think we heard it for a second there. Anywho, tonight we are going to be running down our top 5 lists of wrestlers' theme music. So the intro songs that those guys come out to that we all know and we all love. And we're going to be running down our top 5 list of there. And that's probably going to be very different. We all have different tastes in music. We all like different things. So I think we're probably going to have some pretty varied lists here. And after that, we're going to go on to a preview of Flame Testicles, because Great Balls of Fire is a ridiculous name for a pay-per-view, and I refuse to call it that. So we're going to preview that pay-per-view, and we'll go on from there. So let's start with our top 5 theme tunes, and we'll kick off proceedings tonight with Bohan. Who is your number 5?
Just before we launch into this, we've all obviously discussed it prior. These are by no means definitive lists. Like, I could have fucking easily sat. This is the top 5 that I came up with in the time I was thinking about this. If I do this again, it'll probably be a different fucking list. But my number 5 was Live for the Moment by Monster Magnet, V1 Matt Hardy, because my god, what a fucking tune. Like, there's just something about, like, the big, like, sort of drawn out vocals. That thing was huge, and it fitted the new cocky gimmick and the Matt facts, which were absolutely beautiful. Matt fact number 362: Matt Hardy doesn't like lasagna. Like, that stuff just fucking makes it for me. It's weird how that's became a part of the normal entrance gear as well now on the little side bit. Like, the previous achievements are what goes there now, but they're fucking Matt facts. They're Matt facts for everyone. They're always going to be Matt facts. Yeah, V1, Live for the Moment.
Nice. Claire, who's your number 5 for this list?
So I was much the same. Could have came out with so many different ones. I kind of am coming from the perspective of I'm really quite sad, and I actually download wrestling theme tunes, and they're just part of my normal music collection. So I kind of did it from like what I kind of listen to most regularly and enjoy the most. So number 5 for me is Stars in the Night Sky, which is Paige's theme tune. I just really like it. I think it fits her well. I think there's maybe like a little bit of something about it that takes me back to being like a 15-year-old goth, and it's why I love it so much, but I just really enjoy it.
No, I get it. There's 2 nice ones there. Personally, my number 5, like I said, I chopped and changed so many times. But for me, my number 5, I really like Aleister Black's theme tune in NXT. I just like the lyrics, I just like the song. I can't remember what the fuck it's called, and I do apologise, but Aleister Black's theme tune, I like the metal theme of it. I like the intro, the raising up with music, and just the lyrics. No man is ever truly good. No man is ever truly evil. I'll do the things you never could, and we will never be equal. I just love those lyrics. It just seems they fit him so well, and they've written that song to a T for Aleister, and it's an amazing theme tune. I really enjoy listening to that. And like Claire does, it's one of the ones that I've got on a playlist on my phone.
Yeah, I think we've had this discussion before, not on the podcast. Like, the ones that are coming through NXT and seem to be kind of really written with the guys in mind recently have been fantastic, and I love that theme tune as well. Just, you're totally right. It just invokes his personality. You know, the second you see him coming down to it, it just fits him so well. Which I really like that one as well. That's another one that could have went on my list.
So let's go on. I think we're going to run through this a little bit quickly tonight, but we'll carry on. We'll push through. We'll go back to Claire. Who's your number
4? My number 4 is Glorious, Bobby Roode. I just felt like it had to be on there. It's so good. I mean, really, like, that just kicked him off in NXT, and I mean, you can't help when it comes on, but you know, sing along to it.
But no, I have to agree with you. Glorious is also my number 4. I love that theme tune. I even have it as my phone's ringtone. So anybody calls me, the first thing you hear is Glorious just screaming out from my phone. So it's my ringtone as well. I like it that much. But it's one of those weird juxtapositions that he comes out to a theme tune that so many people love and so many people absolutely sing along to and get involved. And then the music stops, he opens his mouth, and the boos ring out because he's a massive heel. It's just a brilliant juxtaposition, and it works really well. That we love your theme tune, we just hate you because you're a dick.
Yeah, totally.
It's totally Ric Flair 2.0 though, because I mean, people used to get the same reaction from Dust Spots Zarathustra or the 2001 Space Odyssey piece, as a lot of people know it. Like that's fucking. It was one of those theme tunes that fit perfectly. He was an arrogant bastard. Glorious is just a much more pop-oriented version of that. It works better because you can sing along with it, but it's still a case of I fucking hate you, but that's some nice entrance music.
No, fair enough. I like your point. It's good. Like I said, my number 4 was the same as Claire's number 4. We both had Bobby Roode's Glorious. So it brings us on to Bohan. Who's your number 4?
Mine was Sting's WCW theme, and it just takes me back to being a child. There's something about that that still makes the hairs stand up my neck. When they ran those adverts for him being in 2K15, was it, or was it 16? Regardless, when they ran the adverts for him being in the game, and they had the orchestra full of people wearing Sting masks playing the old WCW theme. I just think it's such a great theme. It fit the character real well, and it still has that like sort of gravitas that only a few people's entrance music actually does. You know?
No, I agree with you. Like, I was never a massive WCW fan, so I can't honestly say I heard his original music. I heard his one that he had at WrestleMania with Triple H and kind of the feud he had with Rollins, but I don't know how close that was to his original in WCW, so I can't say much about the song myself. But it's a good pick if if it evokes an emotional response, and that's kind of what the theme tunes are there for, is trying to evoke an emotional response. As soon as the music hits, you know who's coming out, and that's one of the things that I always like about a good theme tune. So it's all good. We'll stick. I'll take this one. I'll go for my number 3. My number 3 was D-Generation X's theme tune. During the Attitude Era, that kind of new metal kind of sound, that new metal, that heavy rock, just kind of fitted in with the vibe that D-Generation X had, what sort of characters they were. It fitted lyrically, thematically throughout the whole of the Attitude Era. That music just fitted. And as soon as you hear the dun dun, you knew that DX were coming out. As soon as the screen gets kind of hijacked with DX imagery, you knew they were coming. It was just a brilliant time to watch DX, and their music just suited them down to a T. And for that reason, they're my number 3.
I can see that. I can definitely see putting the DX theme on, although the live version they did was abysmal and that crowd hated their fucking guts at Mania. But like the theme itself came out as a decent recording. I think that speaks more to the power of Jim Johnson than it does to the wannabe Rage Against the Machine band that they had at the time. But my god, it does work. It works so well.
No, I do agree. Going on from that, we'll go to Claire. Who's your number 3?
My number 3 was The Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News, which was Kenny Williams' theme tune in ICW. Have to say I'm a little behind, so is still or was his theme tune. I just love that song anyway, so it's automatically a favourite when it becomes a theme tune for somebody, and it obviously goes along with the whole kind of Back to Future gimmick that he had. So yeah.
Fair enough. I'm not too sure. I think he might have had it at ICW 9 when he was there. I can't remember if it was that or not. But if it's changed since then, I can't say because I haven't seen a lot of ICW recently. But no, I like the pick. It's a nice one. That's a pretty good pick there. Andy, any thoughts?
Solid pick. I love Back to the Future. I love Kenny Williams. I love wrestling. I love everything about it. There's really not much else to be said. It just missed my list.
Fair enough. Who's your number 3?
My number 3 is one that I don't know. I'm guessing Claire would recognise it if she heard it. I'm thinking you probably won't know it at all. I'm thinking a lot of people who end up listening to this, if there are that many, will probably blank on it. But it's Six Trees Vice. It's Roppongi Vice's entrance music. RPG Vice have been consistently great at New Japan at Ring of Honor for the longest period of time. Watching them and the Bucks together is an absolute joy, and just hearing like that sort of, I don't know, it's really nice to hear a piece of music that someone wrote for their own entrance. It's something that you don't see too often. It's real nice, it works real well, and it's just really, really catchy. It really perfectly encapsulates like sort of everything that Rocky Romero is, judging by how he is on podcasts. It's great.
No, like I said, I'm kind of a blank on that one. I don't know a lot about Ring of Honor or the theme tunes involved in the guy. So, if you say it's good, for that one, I'm gonna have to take your word for it because I honestly don't know it. Um, like I said, anything that brings a response is always good in regards to the wrestlers enjoying, the fans liking it. So, solid pick, I'd say, if I knew what the song was about. But moving on, we're on to our number twos, which didn't sound quite right, but never mind. Claire, who is your number two?
My number two, sorry, was the game. Obviously, Trips's entrance. It's just one of those entrances. As soon as it hits, I'm excited. I love singing along to it. I think it just fits them really well. Yeah, I just love it as a theme tune. I don't really have much else to say. It's just really good, and it fits them so well.
Oh no, I agree with you. I love Motorhead, so just the fact that Lemmy and Triple H were friends, and he got Lemmy to write him a theme tune, or Lemmy wrote a theme tune and said, "I think this will work for you." It's just a brilliant story. And whenever there was a big pay per view and they could get Motorhead to play it live, they would do. And just hearing Lemmy on stage singing the game, and Triple H just showing appreciation to Motorhead for that theme music. And like you said, as soon as you hit it, you know it's Triple H coming out. You know you're going to be in for a show. Yeah, he might be winding down his career, but you can still go. Anytime it comes out, you know you're in for a good time. So definitely it's a solid pick for your number two there. Andy, who was your number two?
My number two is the name we wish everyone would stop fucking chanting. It's CM Punk. I picked Cult of Personality for number two because honestly, it's one of those great pieces of music that like I heard it for the first time out with wrestling. I remember the first time I heard it was probably on Guitar Hero, funnily enough, because I had never heard of like the band at the time. I'd never heard of I Get a Living Color, and it's so mental that I hadn't because I grew to love them so much. I remember hearing Punk come out at Ring of Honor and being like, "That really works." And I remember seeing him do it on the big stage and being like, "This is why I liked you for so long." Like, you know that way when you see someone that you've watched for so long get plucked from like the indies and actually become a genuine success, it's the most beautiful thing. And it just honestly is such a great tune, and it worked so well live at Mania. One of those rare occasions where there's like bollocks at Mania and someone performing music on a stage and you're not looking, going, "Oh, okay, never mind." Like it just works so well for him. It's just a perfect theme tune.
No, I agree. I did love Living Colour. I did love CM Punk's entrance music. Um, I did like his Killswitch Engage entrance music when he first started with WWE and kind of ECW. I did like that Killswitch song, but I did prefer Living Colour's Cult Personality. So it's a good one. It's a solid pick. It definitely fits in with his character. It was a nice, just kind of hearing that diddle-a-doo at the start, just when he had his feud with John Cena. He didn't know who's coming out with that music. Obviously, if he's using it in the Indies prior to using it in WWE, some people are going to be smart to CM Punk's music. They're going to know that that's Punk coming back. Who aren't up on CM Punk's career to that point might not have known he used that theme music. So that nice bit of that guitar riff at the start, just kind of there. John Cena not knowing what's happening. Then CM Punk comes out to the full song, holds the belt up in front of John Cena's face, and it's a nice way to reintroduce CM Punk. And it was a brilliant theme music that worked so well throughout towards the end of his career before he left. In regards to my number two, my profile pictures The Undertaker and Thank You Taker, and my number two is The Undertaker's theme music. I watched The Undertaker, and every time you hear that gong, you hear the death march, you hear the piano, you just hear the strings, and the atmosphere it creates. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it right now. I love his music so much. Yes, it might take him a long time to get to the ring. Yes, he might stroll. But by God, you enjoy every single second of that man getting to the ring, and his music works so well as a character. He fits that persona to that music. That music would not work for anybody else. That persona would not work with anybody else other than Mark Calloway. That man made that character, that music, with that entrance, made The Undertaker. Without the entrance music, without smoke, without the lightning, but all of that, you've just got a man pretending to put bodies in the ground. With it, you've got a persona, you've got a phenomenon that nobody will ever replicate ever again. And the music just helped that so much. And I get chills just watching him. I was watching a couple of his matches. I was watching his Shawn Michaels match, the two Shawn Michaels matches, his two Triple H matches towards the end of the streak, the match he had with CM Punk. And every time I hear his entrance music, he walks to the ring, I get chills. And for that reason, he is my number 2.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good pick. You're completely right. That theme just ties up his whole gimmick perfectly, and it just fits him. You're completely right. It wouldn't fit anyone else. And also, I think by this point, he's earned himself a stroll to the ring. He can stroll to the ring for as long as he wants. He's earned it at this point.
Oh no, I definitely agree with you.
I mean, funeral march is perfect for it as well, though. Like, you don't want to start sprinting like you're in a fucking Benny Hill cutout when you hear the funeral procession. It works so well for that as well.
Oh no, definitely. I just love it. I mean, every once in a while, I think every WrestleMania when I've had some guys around, we watch it, we jokingly say, how long is it going to take The Undertaker to get to the ring? And we place bets on how many minutes it's going to take him to get there. So it is just a little bit of a running joke, but like I said, the music fits perfectly. I think we've all done our number 2s, haven't we? Yes, we have.
Yes,
That's
we have.
That's fine. So we'll move on to our number 1s, and as I kind of decided to get my head up the Undertaker's ass with that, talking about my number 2 at the Undertaker there, I think I'll be quiet for a moment and we'll move on to somebody else. So, Bohan, who is your number 1?
There could only ever have been one number 1 for me as a kid who watched wrestling through the 90s. At the end of the day, it was always going to be I Won't Do What You Tell Me by Jim Johnson, the original Stone Cold entrance. I know some people like the Disturbed version. I just always preferred the original in terms of instrumentation. Like, right down to the way the beat goes, it kind of shuffles the same way he walks. He just comes out shaking the neck and shit. It just always screamed serious. Like, that music, in the most cliche way imaginable now, but not at the time, screams bad motherfucker. Like, it just hits and you're just like, yep, it just got real. Okay, no problem. He's going to beat his ass. All right, no problem. Let's watch this. This is going to be fun. Like, it's just one of those, like, sort of really aggressively amped songs. I remember a while ago having like my headphones in, walking through Central Station, it coming on, and me genuinely considering just shoulder barging some woman that was walking 2 miles an hour in front of me. And I realised that that song's far too good at what it's intended for. Basically, it's just amazing.
Well, no, I agree with you. That's why Stone Cold's intro is my number 1. Once again, it's not the Disturbed version; it is the original version. I love it because of the main reasons that you said there. It just hypes up. You know, you're in for a thrill ride when Stone Cold's music hits. But what also I love is before the music hits, you hear the shattering of glass, and the moment that glass shatters, you know it's Stone Cold. The crowd pops because they know that guy is going to hit the ring. He's going to beat the shit out of someone. And every time I hear Stone Cold music hit, I just get flashbacks of stunners running through my head. I'm like, yep, he stunned this guy, stunned this guy. He's probably going to come down and stun a granny at one point. It wouldn't surprise me he stunned Linda McMahon. So, you know, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. He would stun his own mother if he thought he could get a paycheck. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. He would stun his own mum if he thought he could get a title. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. We love the fact that he will stun anybody. It wouldn't even put it past me if he decided to stun a baby. And I have a baby. And if Stone Cold stunned my baby, I would give that man a beer.
It's just one of those things as well, like, real quick, just to pick up on it. Like, I remember watching a documentary and them talking about something it's always weirded me out. It's fun to share. Basically, Mick Foley's entrance theme, "Have a Nice Day," the car crash sound effect, that's the same sound effect that's underneath the glass shattering in Stone Cold's entrance. That's why it's got such a punch to it when it goes. It's just such a nice little random factoid that it's in both of them.
That's a pretty cool thing. I was so close to putting Mick Foley's theme in my list. I do love the car crash and the just love Mick Foley. Mick Foley's awesome. But yeah, his music almost made my list. Claire, it leaves you to close out our top fives for the week. Who is your number one?
My number one is Catch Your Breath, which is actually Finn Balor's entrance theme. It's just another one of those ones that I love. I think it fits him really well. I think it fits kind of both sides of his personality when he comes out as, kind of plain, I guess, leather jacket Fergal, or whether he comes out as Demon Fergal. I feel like what connects those two is actually the music in his entrance, and it works really well for both. And when he comes out kind of as normal David, it reminds you of the demon, and it does a really good job of kind of getting that menace behind him that, he comes out as it for big events, but it's always kind of there. And, if you're not doing the arms, you don't know joy. I mean, I have to do it every time, no matter what I'm doing. If I'm eating dinner, I will put my cutlery down and I will throw my arms up to that theme tune. I just love it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Fergal Finn Balor's theme tune is one of the best theme tunes around. I like both sides of it when he's being the demon, when he's being just plain Finn. It is absolutely brilliant. It is a fantastic theme music. So I'd say it's a solid pick for your number one. So that concludes our top five for this episode of Talking Trash. I hope you enjoyed that. And now we're going to move on to a preview of the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. God, that's a terrible title.
How did it make it out of, multiple levels of okaying that name for a pay-per-view? And it seems like, because they've seen the first one, so it seems like it's now going to be a new one for years to come, and it's just terrible.
Here we are at the first annual Great Balls of Fire, baby. Can you not see how that's going to be absolutely fucking ridiculous? Come on, let's take the joy out of this, because otherwise it's just a terrible fucking choice.
Oh no, I agree with you. I have no fucking idea how they managed to get that past anybody. I just don't get it. I am literally speechless. Let's call a pay-per-view Great Balls of Fire. Let's have the logo look like a penis aflame with a set of flaming testicles underneath it. Who the fuck hired the guy who decided that logo? And why the fuck did it get past anybody in marketing? It is the absolute epitome of sophomoric humor. And yes, it's funny. And yes, we can laugh about it. But it really should not have got to the point where we're going, let's call a pay-per-view Great Balls of Fire and have our title look like two testicles.
But you know full well what happened was Vince went home drunk one day, started rooting around looking for something that he lost months ago, and found his old Attitude Era notebooks in the fucking attic and just went, Great Balls of Fire, that'll work. And just took it in and went, I'm the boss, do it. Well, that's his choice. Everyone knows that's a Vince McMahon choice.
No, I think you're right. I don't see how anybody with half a brain who is not Vince McMahon would have agreed to let that happen. Whereas when you're Vince McMahon, you just go, we're going to call it this. This is what it's going to be called. I'm the boss. And everyone just goes, okay, Vince, that's fine. But sooner or later, and I love the man. He is mental. He thinks that stuff is still funny now, and it's, well, to be fair, yes, I do still find it funny. So he's got something right, but not everybody finds it funny. Not everybody still harkens back and wants the Attitude Era to return. Vince seems to think that we are all still living in the Attitude Era, and we find dick and fart jokes funny. And to be fair, sometimes they are, but there is a time and a place for dick and fart jokes. And calling a pay-per-view a dick joke, it's just not one of them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's not much else you can say. I think we've covered it. It's fucking ridiculous.
No, it really is. So I think we'll lay off the bashing of the title and we'll actually move on to the actual matches. The pre-show match. Not everyone watches the pre-show, but I think for me the pre-show match is actually going to be potentially, if you watch the whole thing, including the pre-show, that match could steal the entire show and pre-show. It's Neville defending his WWE Cruiserweight Championship against Akira Tozawa, with Titus O'Neil and part of Titus Worldwide. For some, I don't know why I said that, but I just like Titus O'Neil. I like Titus O'Neil. I don't know why. I just do. But there we go. But yes, I think that is going to be a fantastic match. Akira Tozawa has the fans behind him. He's so quick in the ring. He can hit that German suplex out of nowhere. Just snap, bam, you're done. Neville's got the ability to just fight with him, and I don't. The whole thing is Akira Tozawa on the Neville level, or is, as Titus O'Neil likes to say, is Neville going to fall to the power of Tozawa? For me, I think Neville's held the title for long enough, in my opinion. I think there's a chance to give someone else a run. I think someone does need to dethrone the king of the cruiserweight. So my prediction for that match is that Neville's going to drop the title to Tozawa.
Yeah, I mean, this match is how you get me to watch a pre-show. I will watch the pre-show this time round because I'm really interested in this match. I think they're going to keep it on Neville. I'm not really sure why. I've just got a funny feeling that they're going to let him keep it just a bit longer. I think it's really difficult because I kind of want Tozawa to get it. But I don't know why. I've got a feeling it's going to be Neville keeps it for a bit longer.
Okay, so we've got me with Tozawa, Claire with Neville. Andy, you kind of have the, not deciding vote, but you kind of have the where the sway goes in regards to who you think is going to win this. So what's your opinion on the pre-show match?
I've gone with you on that one. I've gone with Tozawa because honestly, I think you're right. I think it's time to take the belt off him. I think he's had it for long enough. I also think they'll probably do it despite Austin Aries, seeing as he just asked for his release and got out a program with Neville as well. But I think it's time to give Tozawa that opportunity. I think there's a chance it's going to come through some form of Titus O'Neil shenanigans. It's not completely out of the question at this stage. It looks like they're trying to turn him into a sympathetic babyface after what happened with Braun Strowman as well. Honestly, I'm more than happy for my favourite monosyllabic Japanese man to be holding a belt at this stage. I have a lot of respect for Akira Tozawa. I love watching Akira Tozawa just work in general. I've loved watching him since he was in Dragon Gate USA. When he worked alongside, funnily enough, Dean Ambrose. It's just one of those things that I think they ought to book him the way he deserves to be booked, with my heart, but with my mind as well. I just don't see him keeping the belt on Neville on top of sort of all of the Austin Aries release stuff. It just doesn't seem likely.
No, I agree with you. I think that Tozawa is going to take this match. Okay, so I've got the matches on Wikipedia, but they haven't got the actual match of the card here. So I'm kind of just going to play it by ear and just go off what I think will be some of the opening matches. We'll run it through and then finish at what I think will be the main event. So next up, we've got the feud between Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Big Cass was revealed to be the man behind the attacks, and we now have that split between Enzo Amore and Big Cass, and those two are having a match, just a regular singles match at Great Balls of Fire. For me, I reckon that Enzo Amore, whilst playing a fantastic underdog, probably will succumb to Big Cass, and that feud will continue a little bit longer, maybe with Enzo Amore getting the upper hand at SummerSlam, or even carrying it on to WrestleMania, potentially with Enzo Amore again, that big WrestleMania moment. But for the first match in this feud, my pick's going to be Big Cass to take the win over Enzo for that one. But I think it should be a good match nonetheless, and Enzo will play a nice underdog. He'll get some good hope spots, but ultimately I think he'll fall to Big Cass in this first match of this feud.
Yeah, I've got Big Cass as well. Whenever I'm looking at a match and trying to think of who I think is going to win, I always kind of have two veins of thought. It's what I would like to happen and what WWE are actually going to do with the story. And I think it makes more sense for Cass to win, and I think that's what they're going to do. I'd like to see Enzo win it, but I know it's not going to happen. So I've got big Cass too because I think it just makes the most sense for the match.
Cool. Bohan, what do you reckon?
Well, thinking about it, it seems fairly obvious that we having just turned them heel, they're not going to take the shine off Big Cass quite yet. Like, otherwise, what was the point in breaking them up? Because ultimately, if you're going to get something out of Big Cass out of this in a hurry, you really need to jumpstart it. You need to turn him big bad, give Enzo a sort of secondary feud with him, have him like sort of barely acknowledged and shit. Because Cass is going to get his opportunity, and then you can probably jumpstart Enzo off it as well. But I mean, I'm reckoning that it's going to be Big Cass that will win. Big Show's going to come out at the end because he's been involved in the whole run up in the feud. He'll make the save for Enzo, and the two of them will ride off into the sunset to obscurity together. Get Enzo an opportunity to work one more experienced guy. You know, just I reckon like it's the kind of whole sort of odd couple thing as well. They're really keen on the whole sort of like when you look at WWE's tag teams, Golden Truth, Breezango, they always like to pick like sort of weird gimmicks that somehow mesh together. So I reckon that's where it's going for him as well. But it seems ridiculous to turn Big Cass heel like that and then not at least capitalize on it once.
No, I can understand that. So kind of we're all going with Big Cass there. So we'll see how that pans out after Sunday night. Next match I probably think will come up will be we've got let's have a look. Let's go with this one. Miz with his Miztourage of his wife, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, against Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. In all honesty, I can't see them playing hot potato with the IC belt. The Miz somehow, as much as a heel as he is, does bring a level of prestige to the IC belt that we haven't seen in a long time. People want to see him with it. People like the fact that he holds and he looks good holding it. So the fact that he only won it a couple of months ago, I can't see him dropping it back to Dean Ambrose this quickly. So I don't think they're going to hot potato the IC belt. So I reckon at this moment in time, Miz will probably hold on to it with some shenanigans from his wife and his Miztourage.
I kind of think long term for me, like it's probably going on Ambrose because I can see a lot to be done with the Miz as well right now. But I can see it going on Ambrose because this feud was reignited from embers basically, like it stopped and started again. I think this is just putting paid to it at this stage. I think Ambrose will win that belt. I think Miz will go on to be involved somehow with one of the bigger titles. I think they're about ready to give him his push at this stage. The whole Miztourage thing, you always get a group of lackeys before and when you come big as a heel for the first time. Like, I mean, look at guys like sort of, completely gone. Like CM Punk had the Straight Edge Society. You've always got that group behind the Nation of Domination with Rocky Maivia. There's always something behind that happening. I feel like that's what they're doing with the Miztourage at this stage. Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, there's always a lackey to do the work.
No, I see your point. I agree with you there. You've gone for Dean Ambrose to win. I've gone for the Miz to win. Claire, what do you reckon is going to happen tonight, Sunday night with that one?
This was quite a difficult one. I think when I wrote my response down, I kind of let my heart win over and I put Ambrose down. But see, realistically, the more I think about it, with all the power behind Miz, I don't know how we're going to not have or justify not having a shenanigans finish where the Miz wins. So I think I might have to revise and change my answer and say the Miz, because I just don't see, with everyone behind him, how Ambrose is going to beat him. I think there's going to be shenanigans going on and Miz is going to keep it.
No, I agree with you. I don't see it being a clean finish, obviously, unless maybe or there has been a little bit. Obviously, it's kayfabe, but there has been a little bit of friction between the Miz and his wife in regards to him picking the Miztourage over her at some point. So there may well be some issues there in regards to the interactions between his wife and the Miztourage. So it may well be that Dean Ambrose comes out on top, but I don't think it's going to be this match here. I think the Miz is going to hold the belt and for at least another pay-per-view anyway. Next matchup, let's go for here we go. The women, Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt in a singles match. I've obviously opened up every single one here, so we'll let someone else open. Claire, where do you reckon this match is going to go?
I think it's going to be Rollins. I don't know. I don't see it to Bray Wyatt as much as I would absolutely love that. I think it just Rollins is just kind of coming back in. They've put him on the front of the game. I think they're going to kind of push him in this one. I don't think they'd be having him lose on a pay-per-view after that and kind of just coming back. I think they're going to push him. And Bray Wyatt seems to be the kind of guy that they're jobbing out to people at the minute. So I think that just makes me think it's going to be Rollins.
No, unfortunately, I have to agree with you. As much as I love Seth Rollins, it just seems that Bray Wyatt is the scapegoat go-to guy when they want to put somebody over. Like you bring Bray Wyatt out, you have him cut some fantastic promos, and then ultimately he loses. If you're gonna have a feud with Bray Wyatt, you can't have a one and done feud. You can't have short feuds. Bray Wyatt is a heel that people like to see win. You want that man to gain the upper hand for 1, 2, 3 pay-per-views in a long feud, and then ultimately the babyface comes out on top. That is how a feud should run, especially with somebody like Bray Wyatt who harkens back to the days of long feuds. A man such as Bray Wyatt, you can't have a short feud with. And as much as I love the guy, he just loses far too much. It's got to a point where anything he says doesn't matter anymore. You know that he can get the upper hand on every single Raw on the show. Every single Raw he could get the upper hand. But when it comes to the pay-per-view, he never wins. He never gets the upper hand going into a pay-per-view. He has very short feuds, and it just weakens his character if every time he goes into an important match, you know he's going to lose because he's the heel, and heels ultimately lose feuds. And that's just not how it needs to be anymore. And so, as much as I want to see him win, I just don't think he's going to, because WWE don't know how to book a long feud anymore.
I mean, again, it's a clean sweep on this one. I've obviously gone with Rollins on the cover of the new game, really pushed him in a big way, integral part of what they're planning, obviously, going forward. So I just think this is a way of getting him back into the mix, to be honest. Like, I don't feel like losing always hurts Bray Wyatt for what it's worth, though. I know he loses a lot. I know you expect it from him, but he does seem to come away with the bigger kind of psychological wins, which are kind of strange. I honestly think that I wish they would give it to Wyatt. I wish they'd give him the opportunity to make this something bigger, because it's another one of those feuds that he started out of nowhere as well over something minimal. The man unhinged character works so well on him. I want to see more of him. I want to see more of him in this capacity. But it's going to be Rollins regardless. Even if we're going to see a couple of matches, it's going to be Rollins. I don't think he's going to get that win.
No, which is ultimately a shame. Like I said, for me, if you have a heel versus a face feud, you need yes, the face does ultimately need to win that feud and come out on top so the feud can end. But it would be nice to have a bit of back and forth. A face win, a heel kind of staying on top for a bit, and then ultimately dropping it back to the face to close out the feud. It just would be nice if WWE, instead of thinking that we have the memory spans of 2-year-olds, asked us to actually remember what goes on, or expected us to remember. We don't need reviews. We don't need 2-week-long feuds that are culminating in a pay-per-view. We like to have things drawn out so we can look back and go, oh, you remember a few weeks ago when he did this? Do you remember, in that last pay-per-view when he did that? It would just be nice to have some longer feuds. But that's another topic for another time, which we currently don't have enough time for, because I'd probably be talking for hours about that. Moving on, the next match. Here I've got... so we've got Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship. Sasha's getting the push at the moment, so I think she might keep the belt. it's hard. It's a hard one to call. I like Alexa Bliss. I like her heel work. She's a fantastic heel. She cuts a brilliant promo. She's won most of those. But I don't know whether they're going to keep the belt on her and then ultimately have her drop it to Nia Jax, or keep it, or wait for a Sasha versus Nia Jax feud for the belt. I'd like to see Sasha take it. You know what? I'm going to swear. I reckon Alexa Bliss is going to keep it, and then they're going to have a drop it to Nia Jax at a later point. So I'm going to go with Alexa for this one. Andy.
Again, Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss by shenanigans, I reckon. There's going to be some form of involvement from outside or something. It's going to be another match that ends the run-in. It just makes sense for this feud that while you're putting a bit of shine on Sasha, you're not going to have her lose it. But I don't think they're ready to take that belt off Alexa Bliss yet. I just feel like it just seems obvious to have her lose in a way where she doesn't necessarily lose any of her heat. She's just going to lose it and she'll get another opportunity down the line, I reckon. It's pretty sort of transparent. It's just a nice way of getting Sasha back in.
No, I agree with you. Like I said, it's a nice way to get Sasha back in the mix. So, like I said, I don't think she's going to keep. She's going to take the belt off of Alexa. Claire, how do you see this one going?
Yeah, I think this is kind of a tough one to call because I like them both, and I like Sasha with a belt. I would like her to get it, but I don't know. My only justification for this is I just don't feel like they're ready to take the belt off Alexa. I think it might go the way of her dropping it to Nia Jax. So I'm gonna have to say Alexa on this one. Although if Sasha wins it, I won't be sad about that. So yeah, I think it's kind of a bit of a tough one.
No, I agree with you. So it's a tough one to call, but I think we all had a clean sweep of Alexa there. Now we're getting to, when we've gone through those, we're kind of looking at the main events of the evening. First one I'm going to go with is Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Hardy Boys in a 30-minute tag team Iron Man match for the Raw tag team titles. This one to me seems that it's in the Sheamus and Cesaro wheelhouse. Sorry, we haven't. I've never, in all the time I've watched wrestling, I don't think I've ever seen a tag team Iron Man match. I know that Matt and Jeff can go. They've had 30-minute plus matches. They've had extreme matches. It would be an interesting one, but it does seem that it's in Cesaro and Sheamus' wheelhouse for this. I don't see them dropping the titles to the Hardys, and honestly, I think if they can get the legal stuff sorted before or just after Great Balls of Fire, we might see a 30-minute Iron match breaking the Hardys. That's ultimately what I'd like to see happen. Whether or not it does, I don't know. But if Sheamus and Cesaro win the titles and they've got the legal battle sorted, then we could well see Sheamus and Cesaro breaking the Hardys in a 30-minute match. But even if that doesn't happen, I'm still picking Sheamus and Cesaro to keep the belts at the end of this match. Claire.
Yeah, I think that would be a really, if they get it all sorted, a really good way to bring in the broken gimmick. I think that makes a lot of sense and it would be cool. Then again, it makes sense. It's WWE and we don't know if they're going to have the legal stuff sorted. But with regards to the match, I'm on the same page as you. I've got Sheamus and Cesaro. I just don't see them taking the belts off them and giving it back to Hardys. I think it would be a wee bit hot potato-y. And I don't know. I think it is kind of more in their wheelhouse, like you said, and I don't think there's any point in them giving them up at this point to switch them over. Like I just don't think it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, Sheamus and Cesaro. I think it's going to be a fantastic match, though. I think it's going to be a really good, interesting match. I think they work well together as tag teams. But yeah, Sheamus and Cesaro, I think will ultimately keep the belts.
Nice. No, so me and you are in agreement there. Bohan, is it a clean sweep across the board again?
Yeah, as again, Sheamus and Cesaro. Just honestly, this type of match benefits them better. I was talking to Claire about it. We actually sat and watched the Kurt Angle Lesnar match, so I could show her the most obvious heel tactic that you've ever seen in a fucking Iron Man match. Yet no one ever seems to use it. Just take a couple of quick lost falls, beat the crap out of someone with a chair, finish them off enough times that it doesn't matter. I'd like to see that. I don't think we will. I reckon it's going to be a good match regardless. It's going to go Sheamus and Cesaro. I don't really. The entire purpose of the Hardys coming back at this stage seems to be this, to legitimise Sheamus and Cesaro in a way that the talent to do so. They just needed someone with a stature. It's good use of older hands, I suppose. That's really what it's going to be, this entire feud. That's how this is going to end, with them still coming out on top. It's got to be Sheamus and Cesaro.
Nice. What did you think of my idea that if they've got it all sorted, they could use a half-hour Iron Man match to break the Hardys effectively, and we get to see the broken guys back again?
I think it would make a lot of sense the way it introduced it. I don't want to get too excited and then find out they've still not closed the legal stuff though, because it was only a couple of days ago it was announced that they were close to a finish. Don't know how quickly TNA is going to let that go. Although Dixie is appearing on Homecoming, so who knows?
Exactly. So you never know. We'll get there. So we come to the penultimate match of the list, which is the big dog Roman Reigns. Yay! Against Braun Strowman in an ambulance match, and I am looking forward to this. I really, really, really want Braun to win, and I really hope that he does. And I'm gonna have to put my pick on Braun Strowman. I'd love to see Braun Strowman just beat the fuck out of Roman Reigns, shoving him in an ambulance, and shut the door, just so we can see Roman Reigns disappear for a little while. We can forget about him, at least for a week. And we can cheer Braun Strowman and say thank you, because I don't like Roman Reigns anymore. Not because he's not a good worker, but just because he's been shoved down our throats for so fucking long that I am tired of him. I am tired of Roman Reigns, and so I am picking Braun Strowman in the hopes that WWE have some fucking sense and let Braun Strowman beat Roman Reigns and the fans get the result that they want.
Yeah, I mean, I want Braun to win. Braun's my pick for this match. Exact same reasons as you. Literally what you said is exactly what I'm thinking, but I just have that horrible feeling in the back of my mind that as much as I really want Braun to win and I want him to just go in and absolutely just tear Roman to bits, and I can be really happy at the end of the match that he's went over him, I just have that horrible sinking feeling that that's not what's going to happen, and it's just going to be, oh, Roman's up again, and oh look, another person lies down to Roman. I am genuinely really worried that they're going to do that. If they don't do that and Braun wins, I will be extremely happy, and Braun is my pick because I would really like to see him win this.
Bohan, what do you reckon?
I think they're hitting the reset button again. The other side of that is that for the last couple of times that they've tried to push Roman Reigns, have realised that, yeah, we've still not changed nothing. It's not getting any better. I saw it, right, pull the switch, we'll try again 6 months. Seems to be what they do at this point now. I reckon they're going to bottle it again. They've Braun put him out. I reckon Braun's going to kayfabe injure him. He's going to bugger off and film something, and he's probably going to spend maybe about a month and a half away, and he'll miss that title shot that he's supposedly getting at SummerSlam. And I really hope so. I kind of get the feeling they're gonna, because they've already tried pushing him this year and not got the reaction they wanted out of it, and then bottled it. Like, they seem to kind of push it right up to the edge and then draw back now because they're like, fuck it, no, don't touch the oven, that's a bad idea.
No, I agree. It does seem that the fans are very vocal in their dislike of Roman Reigns. It's not even like it's a polarizing reaction anymore. It is a genuine, I'd probably say about 70% of boos to compared to 30% of cheers. At least when people say John Cena has a polarizing reaction, he genuinely does. It is around about, I'd say, it is almost a 50-50 split between boos and cheers. But Roman Reigns predominantly getting boos from most of the crowd who are just sick and tired of him. He's not that good on the mic. He's an okay worker. He's gotten better. He has good-ish matches. He just needs some polish. He just needs to change up his gimmick, have some differences, do what Dean and Seth did, get different entrance music, get different ring gear, get a different gimmick. Don't rely on your Shield gimmick. Don't rely on your Shield character because it doesn't work as a single competitor using a tag team moveset. It is just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, he needs some time and not 30 days out because he was suspended and then straight back into the main picture. He needs some serious time out and come back with something completely new and fresh and different, and then maybe I'll be able to actually fucking watch him again. But right now, I just see if it's against somebody that because I care about, Braun Strowman, but see if it's against somebody I'm not that invested in, I'll fast forward through any one of his matches. Like, I just don't want to watch him anymore.
No, it has got to a point of apathy for myself as well. I just don't care about Roman Reigns. I just, as much as I said I don't care, but yes, I want to see him lose. Mainly because I care of the fact that if he gets stale and people just continue to boo him, he's getting boos. So the WWE go, oh, he's gonna get that reaction. Okay, we'll just we'll keep him on TV because they're not. It's not legitimate. He's getting heel heat. No, you're getting X-Pac heat. We just want you to fuck off now. Once again, kind of our discussions on Roman Reigns, I think we'll need to leave for another podcast. Otherwise, we're going to be here until the early hours talking about how we think he's shit. And I don't think anybody wants to hear him rant for that long, unless it's Bohan. But there you go. And the final match of the evening, there can only be one main event, really. And it's Brock Lesnar coming back to defend his title against Samoa Joe. I've pretty much talked about the match every time to begin with, so I'll let somebody else do that this time. Bohan, who do you reckon is going to go over?
I'm going right out there and going Samoa Joe. Like, I think we're building up to an opportunity for Finn Balor and Samoa Joe to meet again on the main roster at this stage over the big belt because they enjoyed that feud so much the first time. I genuinely think that this is Samoa Joe's opportunity. I really hope it is. I mean, traditionally, from guys who've came in from elsewhere, you kind of watch them and you go, oh, you're not going to get used on the main roster, buddy. But AJ bucked that trend and they're building him like a legit monster. I think this might be the first properly competitive Brock Lesnar match we've seen in quite some time, which is great because he's up to it. Both of them are. I can't wait to see that match. I am so excited for it. I reckon it's going to go Joe. I think it will be a great moment when it does go Joe. I think Paul Heyman will cry on TV and it will be beautiful. But it's going to go Joe.
Fair enough. Claire, who do you reckon? How do you reckon this one's going?
I also have Joe. I just think, one, from a personal perspective, I think the belt should be on TV more, and the way to do that is to put it on Joe. Two, I really like Joe. I'd like to see him with the belt. And three, I just think he's convincing to beat Brock. If it's not him, who is it on the roster at the minute? I think Joe's ready for it. I think he's looking great at the minute. The stuff he's been doing, like with Paul Heyman, choking him out, fantastically done. I think it's going to be a really good match. And ultimately, I think Joe's going to come out because I think it makes sense and I really want to see it.
No, I agree with you there. I'm going to have to buck the trend. As much as I'd like to see Joe win, and for the reasons that you said, that the belt should be on TV more often, I can honestly see Brock Lesnar taking the championship, holding on to it again, and probably until SummerSlam when he goes up against whoever he goes up against. But the reason I think Brock's going to win is because of the fact that Joe's been getting the upper hand on Raw, on TV. It's WWE booking that a lot of the time, whoever is getting the upper hand on the TV shows, I wouldn't say 9 times out of 10, but very often turns out to be the one who loses the title, loses the match. So you'll see, heels getting the upper hand every single week on a pay-per-view, or they'll get the upper hand on the go-home show, and then they'll lose the match. And Joe's been getting the upper hand regularly against Brock. He choked out Paul Heyman, which called out Brock. He almost choked out Brock with the Kiki clutch. And I think the fact that they're showing Joe to be this monster on TV, just gives credence to the fact that Brock is going to win on a pay-per-view. As Paul Heyman says, Brock is a special occasion. He's a prize fighter. He's one of those guys who comes out for a payday. And as much as I don't like the guy in terms of the fact that he doesn't give a shit, all he cares about is getting his money, going home, looking after his kids, I can respect that. He's doing a job, he's getting paid, he's going home, he's looking after his family. I can respect that. But like I said, I honestly don't see them taking the belt off of Brock at this moment in time. I reckon they're going to keep it on him until at least SummerSlam. And so I'm going to go with Brock for this one.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think that completely is a possibility. I had thought of it. I mainly picked Joe because I don't want that ending. But I think you're right. I think it definitely could go that way.
No, Bohan, what do you reckon?
I don't disagree with the concept. I just really hope they use this opportunity, because if that is the case and Brock Lesnar's going over, they did all that work to bury him in sort of probably about 10 minutes. I honestly, I think this will be competitive, and if a Brock Lesnar match is competitive, he usually loses.
No, fair enough. So we've ran through all of our matches for the preview. We've done our top 5. I think next time Great Balls of Fire will be over, well, definitely will be over. But next time when we come back, we can do a review of Great Balls of Fire, and we'll see who was right and who was wrong in our predictions for Great Balls of Fire. We'll have a look at that. We'll do another top 5, and I guess we'll go. That's a nice way to close the show. So it's good night from me.
Good night from me.
And it's good night from Bohan. Thanks for listening to Talking Trash, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks very much. Good night.